Why is it that the more you crave sleep, the harder it is to fall asleep? The moment you wish to lie down and rest, something always seems to happen that makes your brain suddenly become loud, restless, and analytical. This is unfortunately a very common experience, so you are not alone. And no, you're not doing sleep wrong. In this video, I'll explain exactly why your brain does this, and how to work with your brain to prime it for sleep, instead of fighting it with no results. What you'll get are insights and suggestions based on research from cognitive neuroscience and sleep science, and studies on the brain's default mode network. It's the end of another grueling day. You've done everything you can, crossed off as many of your to-do list as possible. You finally get into bed, ready to rest. And then a switch flips. Your brain turns on, not just a little, but fully on. Here's what tends to happen. You start replaying conversations from days, weeks, months, even years before. You suddenly remember and think about things you forgot to do. At some point, you also begin planning tomorrow, then next week, then somehow your entire future. What is strange in all of this is that this thinking feels important. Like your brain can't resist doing it because it feels like it needs to keep doing it. And it's almost like your brain is trying to solve something or everything. So you lie in bed, caught between being physically tired and mentally wide awake. What's worse is that the more you notice it, the more frustrating it becomes. So you ask yourself, why can't I just sleep? To understand why this keeps happening, we need to look at how your brain behaves throughout the day. In your waking hours, your attention is mostly directed outward and externally. You're responding to messages, making decisions, processing information presented to you by the outside world. This tends to suppress an important area in your brain called the default mode network, or DMN, during focused tasks. It's still running, but to a more benign degree. See, the DMN is responsible for internal thinking, for things like self-reflection, memory, and imagining the future. A landmark study showed that this network becomes most active when your mind is not focused on the outside world. So think about what happens at night. You are finally able to detach yourself from what's happening outside of you, and the stimuli from the outside get quieter. It's a space with few to no notifications, conversations, or demands for you to act and decide. At night, when external input drops, the default mode network becomes more active. This is a rather simplistic, but helpful way to put it. It's like your brain finally shifts from doing to thinking. But there's more happening. Your brain is also trying to process unresolved information. Throughout the day, you accumulate small fragments and stray stimuli, incomplete tasks. Emotional experiences open questions. Sleep researchers explain that before sleep, the brain begins organizing and prioritizing these experiences. In fact, research shows the brain continues processing unresolved experiences during sleep. It's just that those thoughts can surface just before sleep begins. Think of it like a nightly sorting process for your brain. The issue is that if something feels unresolved, your brain doesn't just quietly file it away. It brings it forward into your awareness, right when your body needs its rest. There's also a subtle biological layer. As your body prepares for sleep, melatonin rises. Melatonin is a hormone produced by the pineal gland, which works as a signal to the body that it is time to sleep. As this happens, your brain remains active in monitoring for potential problems. Isn't it strange that these somehow competing processes tend to occur? But this actually makes more sense from an evolutionary perspective, according to some researchers. If you think about it, nighttime was an extremely vulnerable time for early humans. This is why researchers believe that for early humans, remaining alert at night could have been protective. So the brain may be primed to scan for unresolved issues once external demands drop. And so the impulse to protect ourselves by being more alert when it's dark and quiet carried on in our brains throughout our evolution as a species. So if your brain detects something that feels unfinished or uncertain, it may briefly increase alertness to deal with it. Your brain isn't doing that because it wants to keep you awake, but because it thinks it's helping you prepare. What is clear then is that when your mind starts racing at night, it's not a random occurrence. It's not your brain hating you. It's not you sleeping wrong. It's most likely just your brain finally having space, time, and uninterrupted attention to process what it couldn't during the day. Once you start seeing it this way, the goal changes. You actually don't need to shut your brain off. You need to help it feel like the thinking is already done. Here's how you can achieve that. First, schedule your thinking time. Give your brain a dedicated window before you go to bed. Something like 10 minutes would be enough. What you do is you sit quietly or write freely. Let your mind go through whatever it wants. By doing this, you are reducing the pressure on your brain to want to do it later. Next, use a pre-sleep mental offload. Write down what's on your mind, what you need to do tomorrow, anything unresolved. Those thoughts, tasks, and to-dos that are rattling in your brain and haven't been fully addressed yet. Write them down on your preferred medium. How will this help? A 2018 study in the Journal of Experimental Psychology found that participants who wrote detailed to-do lists fell asleep faster than those who reflected on completed tasks. By doing this, you are letting your brain realize that the information is stored and will not be lost to sleep or forgetfulness. Another thing you can do is change your relationship with nighttime thoughts. Instead of reacting with, "Why is this happening?" try telling yourself, "This is my brain processing," or "This is my brain making sure I don't forget anything important." That small shift reduces an internalized resistance. And resistance is often what keeps the mind active, making it even harder to fall asleep. It is also recommended to create a clear transition into sleep. Avoid going straight from stimulation, like scrolling or working, into bed. Give yourself a buffer period and space. Adopt a routine of going about your last few tasks before bed at a slower pace. Think of turning lights off or dimming them, closing, hiding, or turning off devices. These ought to be little tasks that consciously let your brain know that things are settling down. This signals to your brain that it doesn't need to stay in problem-solving mode. So if your brain feels more active at night, remember that it's not working against you. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do, only at a time that doesn't always feel helpful. But with a few small adjustments, you can guide that process more gently and more effectively towards sleep. You don't do this by forcing your mind to be quiet, but by giving it what it needs earlier so it can rest later. Just be conscious about it, be intentional about it, and be kind about it. Try this one tonight. If your mind starts racing with thoughts, you don't have to fight them. Just acknowledge them and let them pass, like background noise fading into the distance. Remember, sleep should never be something you force. It should be something that you welcome and embrace because your body and your brain are aligned. If this helped you understand your mind a little better, consider liking the video. It helps more people find calm science. And if you enjoy simple, science-backed explanations like this, subscribe for more helpful stuff. I'd also love to hear from you. What does your brain tend to think about at night? And if you'd like to keep exploring, check out the next video on your screen. Until then, take care of your mind and rest well.